I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would anybody like to lead the invocation today? Okey-doke, I'll do it. Lord, bless the city of Brownsville and the PUB, and bless Eddie Campirano, the new port director, and that he has the courage, that you give him the courage and the wisdom to fill up that port of Brownsville. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Brownsville Public Utilities Board meeting. Thank you all for attending this meeting. At the last meeting, I announced that the PUB Scholarship Award recipients for St. Joseph Academy, Living Way Christian School, and Los Fresnos High School. I am very pleased to announce the scholarship recipients from the BISD High Schools. Those seniors will receive a $1,000 scholarship to attend a college or university of their choice. They are Jose A. Leal, Jr. from Homer Hanna High School, Linda Santos from Lopez High School, Laura Armendariz from Pace High School, Alan Cantu from Porter High School, Sandra Elisa Marquez from Rivera High School. Congratulations to these well-deserving students. Summer is here, and so are the hot temperatures. I urge all customers to look to conserve during these periods of high utility usage. We at PUB are doing our part to hold down utility costs, and one recent example is the reduction in the fuel and purchased energy charge for all electrical customers. The fuel and purchased energy charge was reduced from 5 cents per kilowatt hour in May to 4 cents per kilowatt hour in June. This is the lowest the fuel and purchased energy charge has been since February 2005. This reduction, along with energy conservation, should help in lower utility bills this summer. Hurricane season began June 1st, and we all need to be ready in case a hurricane threatens. Beginning in June and running through November, the Brownsville Public Utility Board bill will contain information from the Governor's Division of Emergency Management. Please look at the message portion of the bill for information on hurricane preparedness guidelines evacuation planning. The information is available in English and Spanish. Please read the information and become familiar with the steps that need to be taken in the event an evacuation order is issued. Okay, General Manager's Report, John Gruziak.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we've got just 2 items, a financial report with Leandro's group and then a brief CIS presentation on our new CIS system and some things that are a benefit to our customers. About a 15-minute presentation. We'll start off with the financial.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Ruben Lozano. I'm the financial analyst for Brownsville PUB. This evening we'll be going over Brownsville PUB's financial performance as of April 30th, 2007. This first slide is a summary of revenue activity. For the month of April, our net operating revenues were $12.7 million. When you consider other revenues of $397,000, interest from investments of $350,000, and other non-operating income of $53,000, we're at a total of $13.5 million for gross revenues in April, and year-to-date gross revenues of $96.1 million. To get to adjusted gross revenues, we back out fuel and energy costs of $4.3 million, wholesale energy expenses of $424,000, and our contribution to O&M and debt service for Southmost Regional Water Authority of $336,000. This leaves us with adjusted gross revenues of $8.4 million for April 2007, and year-to-date adjusted gross revenues of $56.9 million. And this is the basis of our calculation of the transfer to the city. This next slide provides a summary of Brownsville PUB's obligations, total O&M and non-operating expenses for April total $3.9 million. Our debt service obligation for April totals $1.9 million, for total requirements of $5.8 million. When you reduce these obligations from adjusted gross revenues and after reducing COB usage, our total available to surplus was $2.3 million for April 2007, and our year-to-date surplus of $16.5 million. And that breakdown for April is $1.8 million for Brownsville PUB and $516,000 for the city. The year-to-date breakdown is $13.2 million for Brownsville PUB and $3.3 million for the city. This next slide provides a summary of the allocation of Brownsville PUB surplus funds. The $1.8 million in surplus available to PUB and for the month of April and year-to-date surplus of $13.2 million continue to fund our reserve accounts, our CIP, as well as the improvement fund surplus. The next few graphs will show comparisons between prior year actuals, 2007 budget, and year-to-date actuals. Actual net operating revenues through April of $90.2 million are $9.2 million or 9% under budget and $13 million or 13% less than prior year actuals. The majority of the decrease from last year is attributable to lower fuel and energy costs. Our actual gross revenues through April of $96.1 million were $7.9 million or 8% under budget and $12.1 million or 11% less than prior year actuals. And after reducing fuel and energy, wholesale energy, and Southmost Regional Water Authority expenses, our actual adjusted gross revenues of $57 million were $1.5 million or 3% over budget and $3.1 million or 6% greater than prior year actuals. Fuel and energy costs through April of $32.8 million are $2.8 million or 8% under budget and $7.2 million or 18% less than prior year actuals. The decrease in fuel and energy expenses from last year is attributable to reduced fuel and energy rates. The rate for April of 2006 was 7.2 cents per kilowatt hour compared to 5 cents per kilowatt hour in April of 2007. Our O&M expenses through April of $23 million or $3 million or 12% under budget and $900,000 or 4% greater than prior year actuals. Through April, our balance available to surplus exceeded the budget by $5 million or 43% and was $3 million or 22% greater than the prior year actual. The surplus to PUB of $13.2 million was $4.8 million or 57% greater than the budget and $2.4 million or 22% greater than prior year actuals. And the surplus to the city exceeded the budget by $200,000 or 6% and was $600,000 or 22% greater than the prior year actuals. This graph represents utility contributions to the surplus funds. Through April, electric has contributed $13.1 million to the surplus. Water has contributed $830,000 to the surplus, and wastewater has contributed $2.5 million to the surplus. The next three graphs will illustrate consumption for electric, water, and wastewater. Electric consumption for April was 93.9 million kilowatt hours compared to 84.9 million kilowatt hours in April of 2006, an increase of 9 million kilowatt hours. April of 2007 saw a 13 million kilowatt hour increase from the previous month of March. Overall, our electric consumption through April of 666.9 million kilowatt hours was 65.1 million kilowatt hours or 11% greater compared to the same period last year. As you can see on this slide, water consumption through April patterns fiscal year 2006. Our water consumption for April decreased approximately 100 million gallons compared to April of 2006. Consumption in April of 2007 increased by 41.8 million gallons from the previous month of March. Overall, our water consumption through April represents a decrease from the same period last year of approximately 151 million gallons, a 4% decrease. Once again, you'll see that wastewater consumption patterns fiscal year 2006, and our wastewater consumption for April decreased approximately 91.1 million gallons compared to April of 2006. Consumption for the month of April of 2007 increased 38.5 million gallons from the previous month of March. And overall, our wastewater consumption through April represents a decrease from the same period last year of approximately 146 million gallons, a 6% decrease. And lastly, this slide provides an overview of our CIP expenditures by utility and funding source. As of April 30th, our year-to-date capital expenditures were $17.6 million. This represents 28.7% in expenditures of the $61.2 million approved amended capital spending plan. And this concludes the presentation. Do you have any questions?
The decline in the water consumption and wastewater from last year partially attributable to drought conditions, maybe?
Or conservation measures that people are taking?
On page 4 of tab 2, that check number 102587.
I don't have that.
Page 4, tab 2.
The 543,000 for the 16-inch
Yes,
water
sir.
line loop?
That's that project.
It's a project that we're working on.
Construction project. Water line,
Yeah, continuous water line that we're working on.
the previous bid award, but
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, CIS presentation, Eddie. We'll be showing that on the screen, so.
Chairman, members of the board, welcome. My name is Eddie Hernandez. I'm the Director of Customer and Information Services, and with me is Susan Walker, Customer Service Manager, and Norma Gomez, CIS Manager. A few months ago, y'all approved a CIS project upgrade, and we just kind of wanted to give you an update of what was going on. The first phase of the project was really interior for PUB, just upgrading the base system, the everyday functionality. That's been done. It's complete. It was done on time and on budget. Phase 2 was really an aspect that affects the customer and that brings some features to the customer, and that's what we'd like to show you now.
Well, first of all, the phase 2 included an e-bill presentment, so now customers can get their balance information and view their accounts online. So they have access to their accounts 24/7 using the PUB website. They can request a connection or a disconnection of service. They can view their account balance. They can view account history or consumption history. They can create a service request if they have a question about their meter reading or a question about their bill because it was higher than normal or lower than normal. They can generate a request that will come directly to customer service and will be responded to typically within 24 hours. They can request an update of mailing address or phone numbers. They can also make a payment using a check or a credit card from the website. Checks are processed at no charge. Credit cards have a fee of $6.25 as a flat fee. And payments are posted immediately in this environment as opposed to the previous one where it was at the end of the day. Customers can view and print their bills also from the website. Some of the customer comments have been that they like the way it looks. Thanks for having this. And PUB has come a long way, and we agree. Does anybody have any questions about this? We're going to take you to a live demo, too.
Is there an incentive for them to pay online?
The incentive would be, if the payment is due, like today, then typically it's a last-minute deal, then they would not pay the penalty. In other words, if you knew you were going to be penalized if you waited, then you could jump online, it costs you $6. Now, PUB keeps none of that fee, that's the third-party processor that gets that fee. But it would save them the balance of the penalty. Now, that's if they go with a credit card. If they go by check and pay with a check, then there's no cost to them. It's free.
And the benefit would be that they can do it from the comfort of their home or office without having to come to the office at PUB, look for a parking space, travel, waste gas, and use postage. So there's a really big benefit to using it. So this is a customer who gave us permission to use his account for this demonstration. And from this logon screen, I used his account number and the PIN that was set up for him. And you can see here his name, his service address, and he's got electric, water, wastewater, garbage, and city fees. All are billed on his account. So from the electric perspective, you can see consumption. Now this graph is different than what you see on your bill because this is broken down into a daily average. This is what his consumption history for the electric goes. This is his billed consumption. This is his daily average in kilowatt hours. We can go to look at his bills from here. So this is the summary page that everybody can see.
Wish that was my bill.
And it gives you an exact copy of the bill that's mailed to you, so if for some reason you misplace it, you can reprint the bill at your leisure.
And do they have the option here to maybe authorize automatic debit when you do this?
They can do that as well.
You do that as well?
Mhm. They can see their account history from here as well. This is just the screen history of each of the bills and their payment over time for a period of 12 months. If he wanted to make a payment, he would click on this and it would take him to the next payment.
We discussed sometime not too long ago about lowering the penalty from 10% to 5% or some number you recall. Why not give them an incentive that if they pay online, it saves us all the paperwork and everything, the process there. Why not give them an incentive, if they pay online, they get a discount or something? I don't know how small, it doesn't have to be very big, but man, we can get away from the paper. That would save us a lot of money.
And
Part of
we
the
agree.
problem appears to be that we send out the bill and then, like some of the users here, the last minute, we've already issued the paper out there, and that's the problem.
Well,
No, but they could sign up to pay online, with an incentive, I mean, if we can have some savings, if it's there, I mean, the numbers work, to where the incentive is there for them, and it saves us money.
well, we can definitely take a look at that to see what kind of offset we could have. We'd be all for that in customer service. I mean, 'cause paper is, just the mountain of paper is a problem, and we are at this point looking to be able to email the bill. Some customers the businesses typically want us to email the bill to them. With individuals, typically what you do is you email them a link, and then they can link into their system. That way there's some privacy. Like we have some companies that pay bills for like Circuit City, Best Buy, that kind of thing, so they may have 50 clients, and they don't want to be logging into all 50. So we're looking at both methods for exactly that reason.
And it saves a lot of trees, too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you log on or sign on or create your password?
You want to take me to that?
Okay. This is the first screen that the customers will see when they go to the website. Well, let me go back to the main screen. If you go to the Brownsville PUB website, you'll click here on View My Account Online, and then this is the screen that you get. As a brand new user for online services, you would go here to establish your PIN, and as long as you've given us your personal information, either your social or your driver's license, and you know your account number, you would put in your account number here, and you would put in the last 4 digits of your social or the last 4 digits of your driver's license. Then you would click on this box, then you would click on validate, and the system will automatically confirm that you've given the right information. And then your PIN will be the 4 digits that you selected. At that point, you'll be able to go to the previous screen and you'll log in here, putting in your account number and the 4 digits that gave you access.
Your PIN will either be the last 4 of social or the last 4 of
Yes.
driver's
Once
license.
you validate that information, then that's going to be your PIN.
And of course, if you don't know your account number, then you could call us and we would, we'd verify it and give you the account number.
Is it that risky? Because I mean, I myself, when I do a lot of this stuff on online transactions, I change the codes periodically. If you're gonna be hooked,
And you can change it here, or you can update you can change your PIN. Once you validate who you are,
just to get that.
once you validate that you are Pat Almada, because you're verifying your
Yeah.
social or your driver's license,
Okay.
then you can go in and change your PIN to anything.
as often as you want.
Exactly. And only you will have access to that. Well, as long as you don't give your personal information out.
What about the quick links, questions in your account, Alex?
This is where if you have a question about a bill, you can put that it was billing related, electric, water, sewer, or other. That's going to just generate part of the message to the customer service department. You would type in here whatever your issue was, and it would, when you finish it, inputting the information, hopefully put in an email address and any other comments about how to contact you, then you would click on submit. Then you make sure you keep a track of this number, and we will respond to you the next business day.
We have a customer service rep that's dedicated to looking just at emails. That's their priority.
I assume everything that you get in your bill, you'll get it online also.
Yes.
So that means if you wanna donate to the Brownsville SPCA or the Rotary or the United Way, whatever is listed there, will that be available to the customer?
Well, the attachment or the inclusion isn't in the bill print because it's a separate item that we insert into the bills when they're being mailed.
There's separate flyers that are created.
But if the customer wants to pay extra, they can pay extra on their bill. And then make a notation in an email to us saying that the extra was for which agency. It would require a little bit, an email on the customer's part to notify us.
Could it be worked out to where you make it as part of the form to where, let's say you want to pledge $1 a month, or it's incorporated to your bill, and you authorize that pledge?
Add it to the quick links.
Could you do that?
Well, we could do that. I think the mayor has a good point. We could probably add it to the quick links and include the form on there and just change it periodically as the board changes it. And just let them know, just tell us what it was you wanted to donate to.
Where you have a checkbox and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
I think Pat had a good point about paying online, and maybe getting an incentive, something similar to Southwest Airlines, cheaper rates available online.
21-day advance pay.
Is that what it is?
The closer you get.
Well, there's companies that might want to pay ahead of time to get it right.
Definitely the incentive for customers to pay online is so that they don't have to come to the building. Every month, we have 30,000 customers come here to pay their bills.
Well,
And that would help.
Maybe the discount could apply if you pay annually on time. At the end of the year, you could, something like that.
We could look at any option. I mean, trust me, our goal is to somehow incentivize people to use the system.
So they're not coming in here.
Because it benefits everyone.
How many have, since we implemented, and we've been online about it, 6 weeks, 6 days?
We went live.
People are on.
We went live on April the 10th with this format, and since then we've got 3,696 users already active, and 2,100 of them were self-validation.
See, what happens to me is this, I have automatic debit. You send me the bill, I don't even look at it, because I know you're gonna take it out of my check, and you debit my account, so I mean, it's really waste of paper. I go online to my checking account, and I know how much you took out.
Right. Which is exactly why we're going to where we can create the bill and basically either email it to you, or provide you the link to the system directly as an email,
Do you have an
and
option?
then we won't print it.
That's
Like
what I
that,
want.
like that just said, in other words, Pat can go on and say, don't send me the paper anymore, that way we eliminate.
That's what we're working on
Okay,
right now.
but that's fine, we're not there yet.
Exactly. Hopefully within a couple of months. I mean, this
That's
is,
what I want to get away from the paper.
Whoever wants email,
We'll do it. Okay, that's great, guys. I congratulate you.
Any other
and
questions?
the quiet one was Norma Gomez. She's actually the one who kind of spearheaded the whole CIS project, so I wanted to introduce you to Norma and to Susan.
we only see you behind the screen.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Take a look at your,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we have a citizen for public comment, Mr. Dean Ayala. There he is.
Thank you.
Dean, thank you for coming forward.
Mr. Chairman, fellow board members, public, I hope I'm not completely out of line. I tend to do that, but I get emotional, and I'm emotional about what I'm going to speak. A few years ago, I happened to go to the Civic Center, and I was quite excited about an event that was going on. It was the International Junior Olympic Boxing Tournament. And being from the nonprofit world, which I was from, Boys and Girls Club, I'm always interested in who's sponsoring, why they're sponsoring, how do they get funding. And when I did my homework, and funny, I just happened to save a copy of it. Brownsville PUB, UTB, TSC, BISD, gold sponsors. I thought about this yesterday, so you're the first ones I approach. I will approach all the other entities. But according to this program, a dream was started. And PUB was a big participant, I believe $25,000 worth. And what I would like to do is go back to these entities and ask them to please complete the dream. We have a young man, we had two gentlemen, Jerry Guevara and Perales, that had the opportunity to live this dream. But we have a small roadblock. I don't know about you all, but when I was growing up, I had a coach. And I was a decent athlete, but I can guarantee you I would have been worth a darn without my coach. These guys went to the trials, the championship trials in Denver, by themselves without a coach, because there was no funding. They did well, they continued. They got to the championships. Guevara lost, Perales also lost. But Perales did well enough to be invited to a box-off in August. His dream is still alive. No one asked me to come up here. He has no idea I'm doing this. I talked to Robert Campos, the coach. He didn't go. They said that because of the job. No, it was funny. If you all know Robert, Mayor, you know Robert better than most of us. He's very shy, very timid. He's not going to go around asking for money. I am. I'm going to ask PUB to please complete the dream you all started. Not you personally, but PUB. And I will go to the other entities and ask them to do the same. Because I would like to see Perales go to the box off with his coach in his corner, not over the telephone. Then we can say Brownsville, when they start a dream, they will complete it. And not go 3/4 of the way. And I'm not placing blame on anyone. There's no blame to be placed. Things happen. But I'm asking PUB to take the first step and help us complete a dream for a future Olympian. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Okay. Let's go to number 3. Consideration and approval on the hiring of an external auditor, Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Alejandro Garcia, CFO for Brownsville PUB. This agenda item requests your consideration and approval on the hiring of the PUB's external auditor. Back on April 26th, we did receive, our bids went out to request external audit services. We did receive 3 proposals, as identified in the agenda item, from Long Chilton, from Padgett, Stratman and Company, and from Patillo Brown and Hill. After review by an internal committee, we did meet with the finance committee and then attempted to get the external auditor hired at the last meeting. Here we are, once again considering it. The staff recommend that you hire Long & Chilton at a fee of $63,750. I can discuss some of the details on the other two firms if you have any questions. But with that, I'll leave it for y'all's consideration.
I'll make a motion to hire Patillo Brown and Hill, just to give somebody else a chance to give us a different perspective.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Amava, seconded by Mr. Valdez. All those in favor?
Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Last month, Mr. Valdez did not vote. He just made the motion to second.
I didn't vote last time, for the simple fact of the appearance of impropriety. Okay, I work for one of the owners of Patillo Brown Hill. Now,
Well, let's be specific. Who do you work for? You work for the county judge,
for the county.
for Carlos Cascos. And Mr. Cascos is the, I don't know what name they use, but he's a partner for the Patillo Brown that's making the proposal.
That's right.
And your job under Judge Cascos is at his discretion. Your job does not go to the commissioner's court, right? He hires and fires you.
That's right.
I don't think you should be voting.
Well, it's not up to you.
What's your legal opinion, Anderson? What's your legal opinion?
Well, under the local government code, which is under section 171.004, that there's a conflict if a public official has a substantial interest in a business entity. And I don't think that, I mean, does Mr. Cascos pay your salary?
No.
He hires and fires them,
I know he does.
or he has that authority.
He has the authority to hire and fire.
What's the rule on the familial issue relationship?
It's within the third degree of consanguinity, which Mr. Guerra is not within the third degree of consanguinity.
So then he can vote also?
Yes, he can.
Now, going back to what you say, man.
But, I mean, I don't think because he doesn't get paid directly by Mr. Cascos or work for the entity that for Patillo Brown or whatever the company. If he worked for that company and he got more than 10% of his income from them, he would be prohibited from voting, because he would have a substantial business interest. If he were an employee of that company, because he's an employee of the county, he doesn't have a substantial business interest, although it's a fact matter, the fact that he works directly for the judge and he hires and has the right to hire and fire him. That could create an appearance of impropriety, but that's.
But you're saying, it's your opinion, your legal opinion, that there's no legal impediment to having Mr. Valdez vote on this issue, even though it involves his employer?
It's my opinion, there's no legal impediment to him voting. There is no doubt that there's an appearance.
Now, Mayor, now that you brought that up, it's funny, just a minute. Mr. Alvarez works for IBC Bank, a board member of the firm that you voted for, sits on that board, Mr. Nacho Larson. I recused myself. He didn't. Why don't you ask him the same?
Well, he explained it.
Let me explain.
Well, the same applies to me. You just heard it right now, and you know that.
Let me explain something. Let me
Oh,
explain
you
something.
explained it. You're
Number
you're
one,
against that.
wait, something was said, so I need to explain. Nacho Garza is a board member of the bank. I am also a full board member of the bank. We are colleagues, okay? When the public depository bid came up in front of this board, I was asked, why doesn't the bank submit a proposal
For the PUB account.
for the PUB account? All you have to do is recruit yourself. And I said, no. I did not want any appearance of impropriety. We did not even submit a bid. Okay, so yes, I mean, even though legally, I went and voted, and legally, if I didn't vote, we could submit a proposal. I said, no proposal, because that's just what I believe personally to be the right thing, and the bank agreed. Nacho Garza and I are colleagues. Also, the bank will not receive any money whatsoever in any accounting work that's rendered by the PUB. So I think those situations are entirely different situations.
I agree, and wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Leandro. You know, we're not doing nothing illegal or improper. I made a motion based on the fact that the Long and Chilton has done it for 8 years, I think for the past 4 years, is that right, Rick? 3 years, past 2 years. And Patillo, Brown, and Hill are the lowest bidder, right, in this instance?
And this is, yes,
Yes,
correct.
this instance. And that's why I make my motion based on this. And it would be healthy to have a different perspective from the past 2 years, just to check, make sure everything is okay. And then they could come back again and bid and be awarded the contract. So that's what I'm basing my motion. Lowest bidder, Mr. Long and Chilton has had it for the past 3 years, or 8 years, or something like that. And a different perspective. I made my motion. I know everybody has good intentions, so, you know, just vote.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm for discussion.
I have another.
Yes.
Just one
Yeah,
question.
you can go ahead.
Leandro, what did staff recommend on utilities? Because last time you did not, I don't think staff recommended, they made a recommendation. Am I reading this correctly, and that you are recommending?
We, when we met with the Finance Committee, we recognized that the point spread on the rates, on the ranking was very small, and we had talked about bringing the top two to the full board, which is what we did. I have since, I was asked at the last board meeting, you know, who I recommended as CFO, and my position was based on the ranking, the experience. Although, like Mr. Miles points out, I would welcome any validation on our accounting system by a new firm. Based on the internal review of the ranking, Long and Chilton received more points. And granted, it's only 1 point difference to recap.
It was 0.5 of a difference.
To recap the points, it was 92.5 for Long and Chilton, 91.5 for Patillo, Brown, Hill, and 87.25 for Kansas Stratton.
And part of that difference was the fact that Long and Chilton had previously done it for PUB.
Right.
Which puts Patillo at a disadvantage because they have never done it for PUB. So really, it's
But
not.
we did recognize across the board other criteria, and
So I would
both
say
firms
I
are
would say
well.
they're even. I would say they're even if you take that factor out.
Right. Well, they have experience with other municipalities, other governmental agencies. They can both do a gas fee audit pursuant to all requirements and assist us with continued efforts to maintain, once we achieve the GFOA certification and reporting, so.
Okay, well, now we got all that cleared up. We have a motion by Mr. Amato, seconded by Mr. Valadez. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
Okay. That's 3 yeas, 3 nays, 3 yeas. It ties. Now,
The motion fails.
it fails, but we bring up,
Let me do this, let me make a motion to table this to the next meeting.
I'm second.
Table this to next meeting.
Okay, all those in favor of tabling? Aye.
Mr. Villarreal,
Okay, that's-
discussion. Leandro, how long before you have to make a decision on it?
Well, we did, our initial intent was, the plan was to bring somebody, begin working with them in August, early September, so we can transition and get the program out, and the plan. The firm needs to be, you know, here in our facilities, maybe late October, this will cover early November, so.
Let me ask you a question. Will the next mayor, is he gonna vote at PUB, like this mayor is doing?
I'm heavily considering abstaining.
Like every mayor has done, Mr. Chairman.
You know,
Are you gonna say it to me? I just don't know what to
The
say.
mayor has the right to vote on this board because he is a voting member of this board.
we don't know who the mayor's gonna be, so
Gone through that.
let's leave that
But
till
it's
then.
encouraging for the citizens to know that at least a candidate is considering abstaining. If this is going too,
No, no,
if this is going too much, tie, we just don't get anywhere.
Mr. Chairman, we have a motion to table to the next meeting, if that's possible, I would appreciate that, if not,
I would like to
we got
express
time,
my
we got time.
position, if you were to ask for my recommendation, I would prefer an approval today, but, you know, we'll work with a mid-July approval, and it's your discretion.
There's a motion to table this item. All those in favor? Aye. All those, all those against? Okay, motion tabled for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Individual consideration item number 4, consideration and approval to amend the fiscal year 2007 O&M budget. Mr. Garcia.
This item requests your consideration and approval of an amendment to our O&M budget. We do have an agenda item here that will require funding of $509,178, and at this point, we are opting to fund it with 2006 surplus money by amending our O&M expense budget, making it, going from $44,545,462 to $45,054,640. This is for a study that we feel can best be qualified under current revenues and their O&M funding versus as a capital type expenditure that will encompass a future study, which is item number 5. Once again, this funding for this will come from 2006 surplus monies. If we achieve
Should number
savings,
5 go first?
it could have either one. We don't want to be presumptuous and proving one or the other, but if we do achieve savings in our 07 budget, I will defer any actual surplus transfers into our plant fund. So we're going to monitor that activity, and if we need to bring in the surplus, we will, in total or in part, as we see.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Amala, seconded by Mr. Valadez, to approve, to amend the fiscal year 2007 O&M budget. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion passes. Item number 5, consideration and approval of a contract to prepare the Brownsville Public Utility Board Water and Wastewater Master Plan 2010. Mrs. Gomez.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at the March 12th workshop prior to the board meeting, we presented the master plan, and we had two companies come in and present that, Turner, Collin, Braden, and NRS, and the board of directors after that, at the meeting, selected Turner, Collin, Braden as the most qualified to prepare the master plan. And the staff have negotiated a scope of work and a fee proposal from PCNB to include the wastewater master plan and incorporate the water master plan updates and water plant expansion, water control, and sludge disposal. And they have submitted a final proposal in the amount of $509,178 for this project. And staff recommends approval of the contract to prepare the Water and Wastewater Master Plan 2010 to CCMB for the amount not to exceed of $509,178.
I'll make the motion.
One quick question. On the exhibit, on the attachment number 2, that's the $321,945 number. I think attachment number 1 is the $509,178, but attachment number 2 is $321,945.
that's one of the breakdowns, that's just one of the tasks. But the full amount is $509,178.
Okay, so attachment number 2 at 321 is included in attachment number 1509?
That's correct.
And the labor estimate of that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Ahmad.
Somebody second it?
Is there a second on the floor?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guerra. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion passes. Item number 6, consideration and approval of feasibility study for Banco Morales Raw Water Storage Reservoir. Mrs. Gomez.
During the November 13, 2006 board meeting, the PUB Board of Directors selected Ambiotech Group as the engineer for the Banco Morales Raw Water Storage Reservoir and Pumping Station project. Ambiotech submitted a proposal for the proposed engineering services at the January 18, 2007 meeting. And the proposal included an ultimate build-out and design of the reservoir at an estimated cost of $19,423,268.20. PUB staff met with Ambiotech on several occasions to discuss the initial estimated cost. And after review and discussion, the staff requested a proposal from Ambiotech to do a feasibility study that would entail different reservoir alternatives. And the cost associated with each alternative, and also the coordination with the IBWC, the International Boundary Water Commission, to ensure that the project meets all the necessary requirements. And the submittal, the proposal for the feasibility study is in the amount of $48,500. And PUB staff recommends approval of the feasibility study to be performed by Ambiotech Group for the Banco Morales Raw Water Reservoir for an amount not to exceed of $48,500.
Let me ask you this, Manager. This reservoir can be part of the capital improvements? To recoup?
For impact, yeah, it's a capacity project.
So it could be, it qualifies. Well, would this study also be included in it?
I don't think
It's
we
part
have
of the
enough to,
improvement.
it's not in there to pay it.
We're funding it from current revenue being transferred to our improvement fund, not from impact fees.
But should it be coming from the impact fee?
It's up to, I guess, an engineer's definition, whether this is growth related or whether this is.
Good, okay. Can I make a motion to approve it, get the funding from the impact fee account?
If we can, we'll,
If not, we'll wait till we do, can we wait till we get back on this?
yeah, what we wanted to do on this was, when I sat down with Dr. Marine, the estimate for the reservoir was real high, much higher than what we can afford. I wouldn't recommend we do it. And we broke out some things with further studies, such as the IBWC has an issue of raising the levee, the wall, the fence. And so we said, let's get some of this preliminary work done. He wanted more time to study some alternatives. He thinks he could bring the cost down on the reservoir, and that's why the small amount here. This is not.
What were you envisioning the cost of the project?
$6 million.
$6 million, yeah, I thought it was.
Once we get the design and engineer, we can definitely
This is kind of a
fund it our
preliminary,
impact fees.
but it can be paid out of impact.
I will make the motion to be paid out of the impact fee account. Manager, are you comfortable with that?
Sure.
So,
If we can take,
If it qualifies,
if it's qualified, yeah. Subject qualified.
Your motion is to approve the project and
It'll be paid out of the impact fee if it's
pay
qualified.
for it out of the impact fees if it's appropriate, if it qualifies, if not, out of the account that they want.
Yeah, definitely. Because it is going to help storage of water.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Ahmad, seconded by Mr. Villalobos to approve the study to be performed by Ambiotech Group for the Banco Morales Raw Water Reservoir in an amount not to exceed $48,500, and if it could be taken out of the impact fee account if qualified. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion passes. We now have the consent agenda items. Anybody have any particular one that they'd like to discuss?
I just have one on number 8. It was, I guess it's for the standby diesel generators, and I think that we all sent out a bunch of bids, but one didn't have a bond bid on it. And I was just wondering, the company that didn't have a, so we were, I guess by default, because of the rules, that we accepted the bid from this Holt.
That is correct.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what was that second, was the bid that did not qualify? Can I ask how much the price was?
Yeah, it was about $6,000 difference.
Better or worse?
Of course, I mean, it was lower.
It was lower, so it was a better bid other than the bid bond?
Yes.
And so because of that, we just got,
Exactly. Because they didn't provide the bid bond, which is required for.
sure, as a rule, yes, okay.
I had a question first. Was the chairman going to speak on the next item on the agenda, our taxes?
Oh, well, no, that's, no,
I make a motion, we adopt or approve all these consent items,
motion made by Mr. Guerra, seconded by Mr. Valadez to approve all the consent agenda items. All those in favor? All those against? Motion passes to approve all the consent agenda items.
make a motion, we close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting by Mr. Guerra, seconded by Mr. Valadez. All those in favor? Aye. Any against? Motion passes. This meeting is closed. Thank you very much.